Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. The Sephora VIB sale is right around the corner, and if you're like me, you have been preparing your basket for a few weeks. The Sephora sale in the grand scheme of things is not that great of a discount, right? Like, we all know you can get better discounts from these retailers' websites usually. However, the VIB sale is the only time when everything's on sale and you're getting like a guaranteed discount, and I think that's why people get excited about it. Personally, like, being somebody who's involved in the beauty community, it just kind of feels like a fun community event, you know, like we're always like talking about what's in our baskets, what's on our wish list, what did we haul from the VIB sale. It's just like a fun thing to get excited about. I will have all the dates and all of the information in the down bar below, but if you're VIB Rouge like I am, you get 20% off everything in Sephora with a couple of caveats for about 2 weeks. And that code is reusable, so you can use it multiple times if you want. However, I do want to say, do not go into debt over makeup. Spend responsibly, you know, spend within your budget. You do not need all of this. If you want it and if it brings you joy, then this is a great time to pick up some of these things, but you do not need all of this, and spending money that you don't have just because something is on sale is never a wise decision. I'm super excited to share all of my recommendations for the sale. I've got makeup, skincare, fragrance, hair care. We got it all. This is going to be a long one. I've got two like glow boosting primers that I'm going to talk about. This one I mainly use in like the winter time when my skin is the driest. It's the Glossier Future Dew. This is an oil serum hybrid. It's kind of like a skincare meets makeup. Honestly, it really feels like high quality skincare when you're using it. This just completely takes care of any like dry flakiness that I have whenever my skin is really dry, and just creates a really smooth, dewy, hydrated canvas for my makeup to sit on. I just really love it. If you have oily skin, I might, you know, proceed with caution with this one because it is that, you know, thicker like oil texture, but I really enjoy this. I also really enjoy the solid version that they've come out with. I really like to use this sort of like spot hydration and spot glow almost. It has a very similar formula to the original Future Dew, it's just in a stick. So I like to use this like underneath my eyes, around my nose, wherever I get really dry, prior to going in with foundation. Now for one of these like Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter type products, they're like a glowy primer with just a little touch of coverage in them. I really love this Dior Forever Star Glow filter. I use the shade 2, and I just find that this is really unique because it gives this really beautiful like pearlescent quality to your skin. It's really pretty. It doesn't feel too heavy. Personally, I think the Charlotte Tilbury feels a little like heavy in texture and like a little bit suffocating on my skin, but this feels really nice and lightweight and kind of hydrating almost. Like, it has a bit of a skincare feeling to it, while also bringing you that dose of really beautiful glow. I love to wear this as a primer all over my skin or mixed in with my foundation. It works beautifully both ways. Today I'm wearing it mixed in with my foundation, and it's just gorgeous. Of course, this is Dior, so it's very expensive. Definitely good to save some money on during the sale. Moving on to skin tints, I actually only have one, but it is from Sephora Collection, which is great because Sephora Collection is 30% off during the sale. It's also really affordable to begin with, so I think this is $22, and then you get an additional 30% off of that. This is super thin, looks incredibly skin-like. Like, honestly, this is nearly undetectable on the skin. It has sort of like a satin finish. That's really what I like from most of my foundations, to be honest. You know, it's not too dewy, not too matte, just somewhere in between. Of course, it has light coverage because it's a skin tint. This also has incredible lasting power. I mean, especially for a skin tint, that's pretty impressive. I'm of the mind that even if you're wearing the most light coverage, you know, natural looking makeup, if it doesn't last well, it's not going to look natural. You know, I don't care if you're wearing something, you know, a skin tinted moisturizer, if it's collecting in your lines or if it's separating, sliding all over your face, that's not going to look natural at the end of the day. Happy to report this does none of that, and it is a super solid choice with an additional 30% off. Full coverage foundation, my absolute favorite is going to be the Hourglass Ambient Soft Glow Foundation. This is incredibly full coverage. It is going to cover all of your secrets. It is perfect for events, photography, anytime you want to be just a little bit more glam. It's full coverage, but it never looks mask-like. It doesn't look cakey. It's just like it covers everything, but it looks like your skin. Soft Glow is a great name for this. Again, it's not greasy, it's not overly shiny, it just is nicely soft and luminous, just like a nice satin finish. Longevity of this is top notch. I am not proud to say that I have slept in this, and it looks pretty good in the morning. Like, that's how you know it's a long-lasting makeup product. My only qualm with this foundation is that the shades run very yellow, so definitely try and swatch in store if you can. And if you find that a lot of foundations are like too yellow or too peachy on you, please invest in a blue color mixer. This is from LA Girl. It is like less than 10 bucks. This saves my ass every time a foundation is too warm. It just perfectly neutralizes all of my foundations that are just a little off. Another longtime love for me is the Armani Luminous Silk foundation. This is so stunning. It is a well-loved classic for such a good reason. I wore this on my wedding day. It is a stunning foundation for brides. I think what makes this so popular for brides is that it really does give you this like lit from within, like healthy quality while still being pretty full coverage. You can definitely sheer this out for a really light coverage, or you can build it up, I would say, to almost full coverage. I will be honest, I look back at my wedding pictures and I wish I had used this Hourglass foundation. This wasn't released yet, so I couldn't have used it. But I just feel like it has like a bit more of a perfecting quality, and I have nice skin, but it isn't perfect, you know? I have some things that I wanted to cover that I felt like the Armani wasn't able to completely cover, but the Hourglass would have. So I think that can kind of help you make your decision, you know, if you have less to cover but you still want more of a glam perfected look, I'd go with the Armani. And if you want that glam perfected look but maybe you've got some acne or some scars, you know, you just have more to cover, I'd say go with the Hourglass. For concealers, look, I have my two concealers that work for every circumstance. You know, I use one for one thing, one for another, and I just like don't stray from them. These are just such good concealers, and like I haven't found anything that have beaten them yet. Will I still try new concealers? Yes, but like they never seem to beat these ones. So the concealers that I'm going to recommend for a fuller coverage concealer, I would go with the Haus Labs concealer. This is so stunning, and again, it covers all your secrets, your dark circles, your acne, whatever you need to cover, this is going to cover it. And it does so in such a like natural way. It has kind of like a thicker, almost like sticky consistency, but that actually works really well to like keep the coverage where you place it. That's especially great for breakouts. You know, you don't want that coverage sliding all over the place when you're trying to like pinpoint conceal a breakout. This has, again, like a satin matte finish. It's not overly dewy, but it's not completely flat matte. It always looks like hydrated under my eyes. Like, it doesn't crease, it looks flawless throughout the whole day, but it always stays looking satiny, hydrated, healthy underneath my eyes. And for a lighter coverage option, my Armani Luminous Silk Concealer never fails me. This is just like always in my bag. I always have this on hand. It definitely has lighter coverage than the Haus Labs. This I would say is light medium coverage. It is incredibly thin in texture, and I think that makes it look like the most skin-like concealer I've ever used. This just like really melts into your skin and looks very at one with your skin. This also has fantastic lasting power. I find that a lot of like lighter coverage kind of luminous concealers look like absolute garbage by the end of the day. This looks staying flawless all day. What I like to do on a daily basis is use a couple dots of the Haus Labs concealer and then mix in quite a bit of the Luminous Silk concealer. And what that does is the Armani kind of like slightly thins out the texture of the Haus Labs and makes it like easier to blend and makes it look really skin-like, but you still get that beautiful coverage from the Haus Labs. These two concealers are my holy grails. I use them mixed together pretty much every day, and then I use them on their own for different purposes as well. For powder, I actually only have one that I want to recommend, and that is the Kosas Cloud Set. This is the original formula. They've come out with like a brightening shade and they've come out with the loose ones. I still love the original the best. I've loved this for so many years. This is the perfect powder for dry skin people or for people who still want to stay glowy but they want their makeup to be set. I don't like this for underneath the eyes. I much prefer a loose powder for underneath the eyes, but for all over the rest of the face, this is stunning. So blurring, it sets everything down without ever looking remotely dry or cakey. It really like lets your glow like come through. It doesn't mattify anything. It just like blurs, sets, but then, you know, it doesn't make you look matte. And so in conclusion, if you're somebody who's looking for oil control, if you are, you know, if you don't want to look shiny, this is not for you. My one big qualm with the Kosas Cloud Set is the packaging. It is such garbage and it always breaks, and it does this for everybody. Everybody's packaging breaks. Mine broke like a few weeks into having it, which really sucks because basically now I can't travel with it because like the cap is broken, so that sucks. I really wish they would work on the packaging. I actually don't have any bronzers for y'all. My favorite bronzers are either not sold at Sephora or from the drugstore. All right, let's move on to cheeks. I actually have like a lot of blush to share with y'all. Actually, let's go ahead and get the highlighter out of the way. I've got one highlighter to share with you, and it is essentially the only highlighter I ever use. It is the Makeup Forever Artist Highlighter in the shade Wherever Pearl. This is everything to me. It is my favorite step of my makeup application. It is the best highlighter I've ever tried, powder, cream, whatever. It is so incredibly good. Everybody that I put this onto ends up absolutely loving it. It is just exceptional, and it is so underrated, underhyped. I'm always afraid they're going to discontinue it, so I always buy backups. Like, it's just amazing. Let me tell you why it's amazing. So the thing about this highlighter is that it has virtually no base pigment, so it truly looks glossy on your skin. Like, I can't see it unless the light is shining on it directly, and that is what I want from a highlighter. When you have too much base pigment in a highlighter, you often get that like stripe on your cheeks that you can see when you're like head on. This will never ever give you that. This really looks like a cream or a liquid, but it's a powder. I don't know if you can see it even, but it just gives the most gorgeous glossy sheen. It's intense. Like, it is not like, don't be fooled by this little packaging. This packs a punch. It's intense, but in such a glossy, natural, refined way. This is never gonna look like dry or cakey or metallic on your cheeks. It just gives you the most like gorgeous, just like glossy look. That's all I can say, is that it looks glossy even though it's a powder. I have not heard from anybody how this shade works on folks with darker skin. So if you have darker skin and you've tried this, please let me know, because I wanna know if it's, you know, universally flattering. I'm gonna start with like a cream powder hybrid. These are the Nudestix Stax. Honestly, Nudestix has like too many different blushes. Like, they are just all together doing too much. Like, we don't need like 7 different blushes from the same company, but I digress. Honestly though, I'm still really happy they brought these out, so, you know, maybe keep making different types of blush, Nudestix. This has such a like unique blurring quality on the skin. Like, you put it on your cheeks and your cheeks look baby smooth, like completely poreless. It also has incredible lasting power for a cream. This will stay on your cheeks all day. So if you're not familiar with these are these like little magnetic pans of product, and they all like magnet together so you can have them in like a stack, whatever. I guess that's okay. I don't love it. Like, I think I'd rather just have it be in a normal component, but whatever. This shade, Love and Roses, if you have my skin tone or lighter, I think you're gonna love this. It really is unique. It is a cool toned, like nudie, but also a little bit like purpley pink. It just is so flattering and looks so fresh on the skin. I don't even know if you can see that. It's just like, a lot of blushes tend to turn very warm tone on me, even when they're supposed to be a cooler tone pink. They can often look like peachy. This one stays looking cool toned, and it's like the only truly cool tone nude pink that I have found. So yeah, I particularly love this shade in the Nudestix stack. I have this stack, it's called the Boss Babe stack, and I love it because it has this beautiful eyeshadow topper in it. I did not expect to love Love and Roses as much as I do, but this is a must for me. For powder blushes, I really love Hourglass Ambient Lighting blushes. They are so beautiful, so refined. I feel like everything Hourglass does is very like sophisticated, you know, and these blushes are no exception. They're just so sophisticated, you know, they're really satiny, they have this beautiful luminous finish. The pigment is nice and light, so you can like kind of build it up, you know, it's never gonna look over the top. And the shades they offer are super beautiful and like very nuanced. I think the thing I love the most about Hourglass though is that they offer these minis in their blushes, and if you are a beauty lover like me, you know how hard it is to like actually use up a product, especially a blush. Like I've never panned a blush in my life and I probably never will. So these minis are amazing because, you know, I haven't used up this blush, but maybe I will. It's definitely more feasible than with the regular size. And these are, I think, around like 20 something dollars, so the price tag is a lot more bearable than the regular size blushes from Hourglass. If you don't want something with any sheen, like you truly want a matte blush, I really like these ones from Lawless. These are the Make Me Blush Velvet Blushes. I have the shade Vintage Love. I really, really like this shade. It is again, like the Nudestix one, it's like an actual cool toned pinky nude that doesn't turn like peach on me. And I don't know if you can see, but there is absolutely no shimmer. It is just like flat matte. Well, it's not flat, like it doesn't look chalky on your cheeks, but it is like there's no hint of sparkle to it. But these are so nice. They blend beautifully. Again, have really nice gradual pigment so you can build them up. They're not difficult to use. Just like really easy to use and a really solid matte powder blush. All right, moving on to liquids and creams. So I really love the Luminous Silk liquid blushes from Armani. I have every shade, but the one that I use the most is the red shade. I think it's called Red Flame or something. These have such a similar texture to the Armani Luminous Silk foundation and concealer. Similarly, like thin, incredibly lightweight, and looks just so skin-like on your face. It has that little just like touch of like lit from within luminosity. There's no like sparkle in this, like no visible shimmer, and it's not like dewy, it's just luminous. I do find with this range of blushes that the level of pigment depends on the shade that you're getting. Like for instance, the like cool toned pink one, that one does not work on me. Like it doesn't even show up on me, and I'm not even that fair. It has like very, very sheer pigment versus this red shade has very high pigment, so a little bit goes a very long way. This one, the berry shade, and like the mauve shade all have like are quite pigmented, and then the rest of the shades I believe are pretty lightly pigmented. Another liquid blush that I've just fallen head over heels for is from Huda Beauty. This is the, what are these called? The blush filters. I have the shade Coco Loco, which I absolutely love. This is such a pretty like blackened red. This is a very like Clinique black honey, you know, black cherry sort of vibes. There it is. So beautiful. I love these types of shades, both in the winter. Like in the winter, they give you kind of like a snowy vibe, and then the summer, they kind of give you a sunbird vibe. They're just very versatile. What I love and find incredibly unique about these Huda blush filters is that they set down entirely, like they don't stay dewy or sticky, anything like that on the skin, but they've got like the finest, barely perceptible shimmer running through them that gives them like a glossy look on your cheeks. That is like impossible to find. Like typically if something looks like glossy on your cheeks, it's gonna have that like sticky texture. These dry down completely and do not budge from your face, but they look super luminous and glossy on your cheeks. Big fan. If I weren't on a blush no buy, I would probably be picking up a few more shades of this Huda Beauty. Also giving you a matte option for a liquid blush. These Caliray Blurry Blushes are phenomenal. These truly are completely blurring. Like when I put them on my cheeks, it's like I have zero pores. It's a little weird, but these kind of dry like a liquid lipstick, but like not in a scary way. They just like dry down and they are just not budging once you put them on your face, which is amazing for a blush. And like I said, they dry down to be completely budge proof, but they don't look dry on your skin. Like they still look hydrated, but yet they're completely matte, no shimmer. You know, they last amazing. They're very blurring, just like a very slept on hit from Caliray. Of course, I've got to talk about my Benetint. I love Benetint so freaking much. The original is such a classic. The original has a very different formula than the rest of the shades in the Benetints. The original is like a very watery stain versus the rest of them have a more like traditional liquid blush formula. It's almost like a gel liquid. Like it has more heft to it and it's not more viscosity. It's not just like completely liquid. I love them all. I find that the lasting power on the like other shades is just as good as the original Benetint, and they look equally natural on the skin. I do find that the pigment in the other shades that aren't this like original liquidy one there's more pigment in these than there is in the original, and that makes sense because this is like a tinted water that like stains your cheeks. I use these year round. Like I have almost all the shades of Benetint. If I had to pick my favorites, it's very difficult. I mean, the original is my no makeup savior. This is always on my face if I'm not wearing makeup, or if I am, it's just like almost always on my face. It just like gives you the most natural flush to your cheeks and your lips. It's so beautiful. But then I also really love Tint, which is their very fiery, warm red, and Flora Tint, which is such a pretty like desert rose, sort of like a earthy like rose tone. So beautiful in the summer. But honestly, like I can recommend all of the shades of Benetint. They're really, really so good. For setting spray, you know, I don't really experiment a lot with different setting sprays. I kind of have my two that I love, and then I just don't really try any new ones. The one that I love for like making your makeup last a lot longer is the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Setting Spray. This is well loved. It really is worth the hype. It does great things for making my makeup last longer, especially in the summer when you're sweaty and you know, your makeup's melting off your face. This will go a long way in keeping it put. I will say, I do kind of think the like waterproofing power of this might be a little bit overhyped. I used this the other day to set my makeup, and then I ended up crying later in the day, and I went to the bathroom after I finished crying, and the tear streaks like through my blush were just so obvious. It was just like tear. So like, I don't know if it's waterproofing your makeup like some people claim that it does. However, this does go a long way in keeping your makeup, you know, looking fresh and not separated. That's really important as well. All right, let us move on to eyes. I really have stepped away from eyeshadow palettes over the past few years. You know, I love my little single shadows. I love my liquid shadows and my creams and like my just like little pots of happiness, you know. So I don't tend to buy full palettes. However, if there's going to be like one staple palette that I recommend to you, it's going to be from Patrick Ta. I have two palettes from Patrick Ta. The one I'm talking about is the all matte one, but I also have the Major Dimension one, and I love that one as well. This all matte one though, it is just so functional. It's such a workhorse product in my collection, and like it is literally always front and center in my vanity. I use it almost every time I do my makeup. Some things that I love about this palette, one is that it doesn't skew too warm or too cool. Like it is truly neutral. You have a row of cool tones and then a row of warm tones, which just like that layout alone just like speaks to my soul. I really like it. But like the cools aren't too cool and the warms aren't too warm. They both kind of lean towards the middle of that spectrum. And I find that I use all of these shades all the time. Like I love to kind of bounce around and like mix and match. If, you know, my all over look is getting too warm, then I'll go in with some of these like more contoury grays. It's just, it has everything that I need. And I just have no need for any other matte neutral shadows really. Another random thing that I love about this palette, this white in the palette is super pigmented. Like I love a matte white inner corner, and a lot of times with my other white shadows you have to build and build and build. This you just tap into, dot it on your face, and you're good to go. I will say I don't use the creams in this palette very much. There's a black and a really dark brown, and I think they're meant to be used as liners. These creams do not perform well as liners. They are going to be smudged all over your face. They crease, they fade, they smudge when you use them as liners, like as a winged liner. No go. They do work really well as like base cream eyeshadows, you know, like if you want to do something all over the lid and then go in with powders over top. They work fine for that, but they're not like a top selling point of this palette for me. While we're talking about Patrick Ta, I would of course be remiss if I didn't talk about the Major Dimension eyeshadow duos. I love these so much. This is such like a treasure in my collection. This eyeshadow duo makes me smile every time I take it out. It is just so stunning. I don't have any other sparkly shadows in my collection that sparkle and twinkle like this one does. It is just like 1,000 little lights all over your eyelids. It's just so pretty. This is my go-to if I want a low effort but high impact eye look. It looks fancy, it looks glamorous, but like you can use literally one of these shadows and you're out the door. These are very expensive. Like, people lost their shit whenever these came out because of the price tag on them. I think they're $42, and like for me that breaks down to, you know, $21 a piece. I easily pay that for moon dust shadows. Like, I'm going to buy Urban Decay Space Cowboy during the VIB sale, and that's $24. So to me, I'm basically just buying two incredibly beautiful moon dust shadows. Like, I'm fine with that. However, a couple of caveats with this product. I have heard, and I haven't swatched them for myself because I don't know if they're in store yet, but I have heard that the formula like drastically differs between shades of this product. Like, some of them don't have that same like high shine twinkly factor to them. From what I have seen online, this shade, Do You Know Who I Am, is the best one. Like, it is the shiniest, sparkliest, just like the best one. So if you were just going to buy one and you can't swatch in stores, I would recommend this one. But if you can swatch in stores, then stop by a Sephora and see which one you like the best. All right, now I have to talk about what is on my eyes. It is Urban Decay Space Cowboy, a classic. Almost everybody has this shadow. Like, it's just that good, you know? Everybody's going to like this, no matter what your skin tone, what your preferences are, you're gonna love this shadow. There are a lot of supposed dupes to this product out on the market. I've tried a couple of them, and personally, I haven't found anything that compares to the original Space Cowboy. It's what's all over my lids right now. I'm wearing a cream shadow underneath it, but then this is the main like sparkle all over my lids. So glossy looking. Like, that is the thing about this shadow. It literally looks like an eye gloss, especially in photography and like low lighting. You look like you have glossy lids while just using a powder eyeshadow. The shade of this shadow is just so perfect. It has this like subtle, warm, peachy tone to the base that just, as a one and done eyeshadow, gives you a little bit of dimension to your lids. It gives you that kind of all over warmth, but then the sparkle in this shadow is this like ultra fine reflective silver glitter that gives it that like just ultra wet effect. I love this shadow especially because it has such a sheer base pigment. You can use this as a topper over top of pretty much any eyeshadow, and it's really gonna amp up that like glossiness factor without changing the tone of what's underneath. This is the closest I've ever got to completely panning a shadow. Like I said, I'm going to buy a replacement. One, because this is a million years old, and two, because like I'm towards the edge, and you know, like when you get towards the edges, it starts breaking and crumbling every time you use it. So yeah, I'm getting a new one during the sale because I cannot be without this in my life. So another staple must-have product for me is the Charlotte Tilbury Eyes to Mesmerize cream shadows. These are just a holy grail, such a unique, incredible item. I have never found anything that beats these. They're really like kind of the only thing of its kind. Like, I have not found any other like whipped creamy cream eyeshadows like this. Tom Ford used to have some, but they discontinued them. Like, it's just, these are so unique. The thing that I love about the Charlotte Tilbury cream eyeshadows is they are just so effortless. Like, you can blend these with your finger, with a brush, no matter what you want to do with them. It just doesn't look like you tried that hard, but you get this just beautiful, like soft pigment and sheen. They're all of the shades they offer are reflective in some way. Some of them have like glitter and some of them are more of a satin shade, but none of them are like completely flat matte. So they give like a hydrated look to your eyelids. I don't know how it does it, but like it just makes your eyelids look youthful. I love using these as a one and done eyeshadow. You know, I like to just throw them on my lids, blend them out in the crease with a brush, and you're good to go. Like, you've got a crease color, and then you've got some beautiful like sheen on the lids, and it looks like you worked harder than you did. I recently found out that my favorite shade in the cream eyeshadows from Charlotte Tilbury, Exaggerize, is discontinued, and I am pissed about it. Like, I don't understand why they did that. Like, so many people love this shade. I wish I could recommend this one to you, but since I can't, my other favorites are Pillow Talk, which is the one I'm using today, Champagne, and Amber Gold. Those are my top most used shades. Something I will say about the Charlotte Tilbury eyeshadows is the lasting power is not great on them. Definitely use an eyeshadow primer. I really like the one from Ulta Beauty's brand. But yeah, they will crease if you don't use like a primer or, you know, something underneath it that is crease proof. A matte cream eyeshadow that I really, really love are these ones from Merit. These are the Solo Shadows. These are gorgeous. These are, if you've ever used MAC paint pots, these are very similar. They are, you know, matte cream eyeshadows. These dry down to be completely budge proof and crease proof. They do not move. So these make a really incredible base for other eyeshadows. And yeah, I use the shade Studio pretty like almost every day. Like, it is just such a good base color for my skin tone. I will say Studio is described online as a cool taupe. It is not taupe. It is, I don't know if you can see it here, it's even warmer on the skin than it looks in the pot. It's more of a like warm light brown. Like, there's nothing taupe about this. But yeah, I do love these Merit Solo Shadows. You know, I use them mostly as a base, but they're beautiful just all over the lid on their own as well. I have had some friends who have said that these have dried out on them. That has not happened to me. I've had mine for about 4 months and I use them very, very often, like I said, and they haven't dried out at all. I'll say these are kind of weird. The cap, like, you close it, but then you have to, like, I don't know if you can hear that, but like they click the close all the way, but it's kind of hard to get them to close all the way. So I wonder if people inadvertently like aren't closing them shut all the way and aren't going till they click, and that's why they're drying out. I don't know. I mean, if that's the case, that's still on Merit for making weird packaging, but yeah, I just wanted to point that out, that like a lot of my friends have said that those have dried out on them. I am very picky when it comes to liquid eyeshadow. Honestly, like, I've just tried so many shitty liquid eyeshadow formulas that like I'm a little jaded, okay? So when I find a really good one, I have to shout it from the rooftops. The Armani eye tints, though, are so freaking good. Both the shimmers and the mattes. I find that shimmer, especially in a liquid eyeshadow, is just so hard to formulate. I do not know why. A lot of times they look like dry and flaky on the lids, or they'll crease weird, or I don't know. There's just so many things that can go wrong, but these are perfect. They are, again, like, everything in the Armani line is incredibly thin in texture, and I think that's why it is so beautiful. These have such a thin texture that is so easy to blend. It's so easy as, again, like a one and done eye look. You have plenty of time to blend these before they set down, but once they do set down, they're not moving. They have fantastic lasting power. These are just like a 10 out of 10. For mascara, I only use one mascara and I love it so much. I experiment with other mascaras sometimes and I'm always left feeling empty. And I'm like, that's not my Tower 28 Make Waves mascara. This is just, it does everything that I want a mascara to do. It holds the curl of my lashes, it multiplies my lashes, it lengthens them, it makes them look like soft and fluttery, it doesn't clump, it doesn't flake, it doesn't run, it just does everything that I need it to do. And for a Sephora brand, Tower 28 is relatively affordable, so I think this is about $20. I stock up on this, I buy multiple tubes every VIB sale because it is just that good. Also, my eyebrow gel that I use, Benefit 24-Hour Brow Setter, phenomenal. I love this eyebrow gel so much, mostly because of this little applicator. It's like, oh, I get to do the little YouTube thingy. I don't know if that did anything, but it is like a little comb with like different length bristles, and that is just really good for my like very sparse eyebrows. I like to put eyebrow gel in after I've filled in my brows, and if you get too much product on the brush, on the applicator, it can a lot of times like smear the, you know, filling in product that you used. I love that because this has those little like comb teeth, it doesn't do that. This also, like, it is going to keep your brow hairs up all day. It is nice and fluffy, but it's not that one of those like laminating, like almost like creamy, waxy type of eyebrow gels. Honestly, I've tried a lot of those and they always turn white on me or like clump up weird in my brows. This one dries completely clear and it stays completely clear. So yeah, this is a staple product for me and, you know, definitely my favorite brow gel. An eyeliner recommendation. So I don't wear eyeliner that often. I usually will like put a little bit of a darker shadow at the base of my lashes, but like I don't do like a true liner that often. But if I do want a liquid liner, I want it to be brown. Like I really overdid it on the black eyeliner back in 2016 and I just scarred myself for life. So if I'm doing liquid liner, it needs to be brown and it needs to be a warm, lighter toned brown. There are way too many liners out there that say that they're brown, but they're just like black with like a hint of brown. This one from Fenty, and this is what I'm wearing today, it is an actual brown and it is very warm tone and it is on the lighter side, so it doesn't just look black. The tip of this is very precise and very easy to use. I never have any issues with my liner coming out wonky whenever I use this. It's just like very user-friendly as somebody who is not very skilled with liner. I would say there are a couple cons with this. One is like the packaging's a little weird and this part always comes out whenever I try and open it. So I just like hold on to it when I open. It's not that big of a deal. And then also this does like a weird thing, and maybe all liquid liners do this and I just don't use liquid liners enough to know. But when I go in to curl my lashes after using this, and I'll like hold my lash curler there and take it away from my face, all of the eyeliner like on the middle of my lids always like gets transferred to the curler, and I don't know why that happens. It's not that hard to fix. I always just go back in and just kind of fill in where it got lifted up, but it is a weird thing that happens with this. Let's move it along to lips. I've got two liners to suggest for you that are available at Sephora, the Rare Beauty liners and the Tower 28 liners. My favorite shade in the Rare Beauty is the shade Worthy, and my favorite shade in Tower 28 is Paint My Number. I've got Paint My Number on in my lip combo right now. The Rare Beauty is the more long-lasting of the two. This is one of the most long-lasting liners I've ever tried. It is so phenomenal. It goes on very, very creamy, but then it sets down almost like a liquid lipstick does. Like it is completely budge-proof. It like you have to like scrub to get it off, but yet it's creamy when it goes on and it doesn't dry too fast. I hate when a lip liner dries super fast and then if you mess up, it's just like glued to your face. Or sometimes I find that really long lasting lip liners almost like cling to the little microscopic hairs around my lips, or it like picks up on itself. This doesn't do any of those things. It just goes on super creamy. It's easy to smudge out if you want to, but then once it sets, it's not going anywhere. And then the Tower 28 are not nearly as long lasting. They are very creamy, comfortable, easy to use. It's just the lasting power isn't as good. The thing I love about the Tower 28 is the shades they offer. Paint My Number and Work of Art are just so freaking good. And they just have this like, they just look natural on your lips. You know, I want a lip liner to like naturally enhance my lip line, not look like, oh, like she's wearing lip liner, you know? So yeah, love both of these so much. But if I was gonna be honest, my favorite lip liner of all time is the RMS lip liners. Those last even longer than the Rare Beauty. It's just RMS isn't available at Sephora. So, you know, if you really wanna get something during the VIB sale, I do absolutely love these. But personally, I think the RMS is worth spending a little bit more money on. I've got quite a few glosses here for you. So I love these lip glazes from Haus Labs. First of all, they're so cute. Like I love looking at them on my vanity. They're like my little babies, you know. I love this formula. It looks incredibly glassy and smoothing on the lips, and it feels really nice. It's definitely a thicker, a thicker texture that's really going to smooth out the lines in your lips, but it's not overly thick. It's not sticky at all. Like, I want my lip glosses to be thick but not sticky, and that's kind of hard to find. But something else I love about these is they actually have pigment. There are so many lip oils and lip glosses out there now that are basically clear, and I'm like, no, like, give me some pigment, and these have really beautiful pigment. The shades they offer are stunning. Like, if I had all the money in the world, I would have all of the shades, but the ones that I do have are Fig, Guava, and Macaron. I think my favorites are Macaron and Fig, but they're all really pretty. Guava's just like very close to my lip color, so it's just like a My Lips But Better shade. But yeah, these lip glazes from Haus Labs are phenomenal. I've got some lip stains for you. My top favorites are these ones from Fenty. It's the Fenty Poutsicles. These were super viral years ago, and then everyone stopped talking about them, but I never stopped loving them. These are my go-to in the summer because they have these beautiful, like, bright popsicle shades, and they last beautifully. In the summertime when it's hot, I don't want to be fussing over my lip combo. So the fact that these stain so beautifully is just phenomenal. These are glossy, but then once the gloss wears off, you get this beautiful stain underneath. And the glossiness, it's not like overly glossy, like, they're not sticky or thick at all. It just makes your lips look nice and juicy. This is the shade My Type, which is my favorite shade out of the range. It is just the prettiest, like, warm raspberry pink. It is just incredibly flattering on everyone I've seen it on. And I really love layering a gloss on top of this to really, like, amp up the glossiness. And I carry the gloss with me to, touch up while I'm out, but that color underneath sticks around. Yeah, in the summertime with, like, it's just such a vibe, you've been at the pool all day, you come home, you shower, you're ready to go out to dinner, you, like, just throw on, like, some mascara, some concealer, and Fenty My Type, and you're ready to go. Another very similar product, it is the exact same thing, is from Kulfi. It's the Kulfi Lassie Lips. These are also a glossy lip stain, very, it's just the same thing. So, it's glossy when you put it on, but then it dries down and the gloss wears off and you're left with the stain. Really the only difference is I do feel like the Fenty stains more intensely, but I think that's just because these come in brighter shades, like a bright red is always going to stain more intensely than, a nude pink. So, it's mainly the difference is the shades. I love that Kulfi offers neutral shades and, like, more muted shades. I love this shade Tamarind. This is a, like, cooler toned, deeper brown. I love this shade so much. And I love that these actually stain the color that you see. I find this a lot with K-Beauty lip stains is that once they've been on your lips for a little while, they start turning, like, pink, or they start turning, like, bright red or something. These actually, like, what you see here is what you're going to get with the stain. If you're curious about the stain, I'm going to wipe these off. And you can see, like, that's the Fenty, and it stains a lot more intensely than the Kulfi, but the Kulfi stays that beautiful, like, cool brown. Another unsung hero product that I never hear anybody talking about is the Charlotte Tilbury Happy Kiss Balms. These are so good. I've loved these for years, and I don't know why more people don't talk about them. I mean, it could be because they're stupid expensive and the packaging is so dinky. The packaging is like drugstore plastic packaging, but these are like $40. It's ridiculous, but I still love these so much. These are one of those, like, twist up balm gloss sticks that once you twist it up, you can't twist it down. There's very few products that I found out there that are more, like, smoothing on the lips, These just make your lips look so juicy and smooth, and, like, they have no lines, and they look hydrated. They feel hydrated because this is a balm. It's just so beautiful, and I almost always have one of these in my purse. I've gone through multiples of the shade Pillow Talk. My other favorite shade is Crystal Happy Kiss, which is it's so random because This is basically clear. It's clear with basically the tiniest hint of pink. But what I love about this is that when I'm wearing no other makeup, but I want my face to look a little bit more alive, I use Crystal Happy Kiss, and it's enough. I mean, the hydration and that tiny hint of pink just sort of like wakes up my face, you know, without looking like I'm actually wearing a lip product. My other favorite shade is Pillow Talk, which is the most stunning. I mean, it's Pillow Talk, so it's that, you know, mauvey pink nude. It's what I'm wearing all over right now. Such a beautiful color, so flattering. This is one of the only lipsticks that I feel comfortable wearing when I have no other makeup on. It just looks kind of natural on your face. These are my purse must-haves, my no makeup must-haves. I just love them so much. Another recommendation from Charlotte Tilbury is her, what is this? This product is so stupid and I'm always like so embarrassed for using it. It's the Pillow Talk Big Lip Plumpgasm. Embarrassing, right? This packaging is so extra and like over the top. It's ridiculous. It's too big. I don't like it, but the product inside is so good. I think what I love the most about this product is the color. Like, this color is just so good. I'll put a little on right now. Phenomenal. Phenomenal is the word of the day, I guess. This is the shade Pillow Talk Medium Deep. I would have thought that I would like the lighter shade of Pillow Talk, but no, this is the one for me. It's this beautiful sheer kind of like cool tone mauve. Absolutely gorgeous. This is a plumping gloss and it has a very thin texture. I don't like either of those things, so I'm very surprised that I like this. But I think it's because it is truly so like glassy looking on your lips. Like it makes your lips look bigger even if the plumping isn't working. Like the shininess of it it's gorgeous. It's sensory wise, it's not my favorite because it is so thin. I feel like it gets in your mouth a little bit and it's very minty, very tingly. So like that's not my favorite thing, but I love how it looks, so I put up with it. Moving on with some more like balm gloss stick products. I love these guys from Hourglass. It's the Phantom Glossy Balms, I think is what they're called. I've got so many of them. I've got like half of the shades that they offer. But again, like these are just so incredibly smoothing on the lips. They just make your lips look big and smooth and glassy. These are really unbeatable. You know, since these kind of went viral, a lot of dupes have come out, but I still haven't found anything that I like as much as these. These don't smell like anything to me, but they do tingle on the lips. My favorite shade in the Hourglass is the shade Desire. It's such a pretty like cool tone pink nude. There it is right there. Hopefully you can see that. Yeah, Desire is like my go-to. Another very popular pick that I think is worth the hype is the Tarte Maracuja Juicy Lips. I have two shades of this product that I think are very unique, and I think the other shades that they offer aren't quite as good or quite as unique. The shade Honeysuckle, oh my god, Honeysuckle is so good. It is this really sheer, glassy looking, like blackened red. It's very like Clinique Black Honey vibes, but if you made that a whole lot glossier. Just absolutely beautiful. That translucence this offers, I just feel like makes it so flattering. I love layering a like bright red stain underneath this color, and something about like the bright red with this kind of like blackened red on top just looks so like dimensional and beautiful. I just love it so much. And then in the Maracuja Juicy Lip Vinyl, which I don't really know the difference. Like, honestly, I guess the lip vinyls are supposed to be like shinier. I don't know. But the shade that I have in the lip vinyl is gorgeous. It's called Sheer Lotus. And this is another one that I just reach for all the time this summer. It's such a beautiful, like translucent, hot pink. So, you know, because it's sheer, it just looks like this gorgeous wash of glossy pink, and it is so pretty, especially in the summertime. I've swatched other shades of the Maracuja Juicy Lip, and personally, I don't think they're as special as these ones. I think the translucent sheer quality that these two offer is super flattering and beautiful. A lot of the other shades in the Tarte Maracuja Juicy Lip are like more milky and opaque, and I just don't think they're quite as flattering. Another gloss stick that I really, really love, this one you can twist down once you twist it up. These are the Fenty Gloss Bomb sticks. These are beautiful. Talk about pigmented, like these pack a punch. You really, like, especially with the deeper shades, you need to be careful because these are a shiny formula, you know, it can kind of turn into a mess. But this is the shade Spice Cold, which is, I love for a, like, you know, cool toned brown berry nude. Super, super pretty. And it just, like you can see, it actually has pigment, and I love that about it. These are just so smooth, super duper comfortable. They don't have that like high shine that you'll get from like the Hourglass or, you know, that Charlotte Tilbury gloss, but these still are very shiny and very smoothing on the lips. The best thing about these is that the pigment doesn't separate. I find that with a lot of like highly pigmented glossy lip products, the pigment will separate as you wear them, and I hate that. This does not do that. It stays smooth and even the whole time you're wearing it. These smell the same as the original Gloss Bombs. Personally, I love the smell. It's like a fruity, nostalgic scent. It smells like, I don't know, it smells like something from my childhood. Last is going to be a new launch, and this is from Makeup Forever. It is their Super Boost Plumping Glosses. I have the shade Boundless Berry, which I love this shade to death. It is so beautiful. This is the thickest gloss that I'm talking about today. Like this, she is thick, okay? Still not really sticky. Like, there's a difference between thick and sticky, and I don't like sticky, and these are not sticky, but they are thick and fill in every line in your lips and just make them look incredibly glassy. Just like, even on my hand, I can tell a difference between this and some of the other glosses. It's just so beautiful. The shade Boundless Berry is such a pretty, sheer, like berry pink. It's very, very flattering. Just absolutely gorgeous. I love these. They offer so many cool shades. I am also on a lip product no buy right now. Like, I needed to chill out on the blush and lip products, so I'm like not buying them for a little bit. But if I wasn't, I would probably pick up more shades of this because they are so pretty. One kind of big caveat with this Makeup Forever gloss is that some of my friends are finding that when they buy this, it has a really like off-putting smell and taste. Like, I've heard that it smells and tastes like mint and perfume, like not good. Mine doesn't smell or taste like anything at all. In fact, I kind of like wish that it did instead of just being like nothingness. If anything, it's maybe the faintest hint of mint, but not nearly as minty as some of the other products I've talked about. I have a theory that there's like an inconsistency in production of this product, and that some batches have a scent and some of them don't. I tried 2 of them at Sephora. Like, one of them was from the end cap and one was from the main display. One of them had a weird smell and one of them didn't. So I'm like, and they were the same shade too. So I'm like, something weird is going on. Oh, I don't know what's going on with the smell or taste of this. All I can say is maybe go to Sephora beforehand and smell it and see, you know, what it smells like to you. God, you should see in front of me. It is a war zone. I've just been like talking about these products and then just putting them down in front of me, and this is a mess. I don't have it with me because I recently finished a bottle, but the Dew Instant Angel Moisturizer is one of my all-time favorites. It is like a hug for your skin, especially if you have dry skin. Oily skin, I don't think you're really gonna like it because it's quite a heavy texture. You might like it as a night cream, but probably not as a day cream. But yeah, it just leaves me with the most like long-lasting hydration. My skin just really, really likes it. I love this Sophie Pavitt clearing serum. This is a mandelic acid serum. It also has some soothing ingredients like hyaluronic acid. I just love how gentle this is. This is so gentle, I can even use it in the morning with no issues. It's just really effective at clearing my skin, but it doesn't feel like it's stripping my skin. It's just like a really watery serum, so it layers really beautifully with other skincare, and I just really, really like it. It is more expensive. I think this is $50-something, but that's not crazy expensive for Sephora, and you can get, you know, a discount during the sale. It's in another room and I'm just too lazy to go get it, but Laneige Lip Sleeping Mask, you know, everybody loves it for such a good reason. It's so good. I have not really found anything more effective at repairing my lips overnight than Laneige. It just is seriously like a hug for my lips. I can put it on at nighttime and I know that I'm gonna wake up with happy, soft lips in the morning. I also just like love the flavors that they have. They're just really delicious. My favorites are the berry flavor and the pink lemonade, but I also really like the mango scent. Wildly overpriced Summer Fridays hydrating serum. This has been repackaged. It's now, I think, the Jet Lag Deep Hydration Serum, but it's the same product. It's just been repackaged. This is so stupid and like I hate buying it. It is not fun money to spend, but I just can't deny that my skin loves it. I don't know what is so special about it, but I can tell when this is not in my routine because I run out. It's just my skin is not as happy and it's not as hydrated. It's not as soothed. It's not as smooth. Like, I don't know what it is. I have desperately tried to find a cheaper dupe for this Summer Fridays because I hate spending $40-something on a hydrating serum, but I keep doing it because I have not found a dupe yet. And it is really good. If you want to try it, then definitely do it during the VIB sale to make that price tag a little bit more tolerable. I am not really a hair girly. I hate doing my hair. It is just like, it's the part that I dread the most in my routine. So my hair care routine is pretty minimal, but I do have a couple of products that I really love that I'd recommend during the sale. Two products from Living Proof. The first is their full texturizing foam. I have very fine, thin hair that is like pretty straight. Like it has a tiny bit of a wave, but for the most part, it's very like silky and just like hangs there. I need some texturizing products to kind of like beef up that, you know, volume. This is great for that. It does not feel sticky or crunchy in your hair. I use it every time I wash my hair and it just gives me such nice, soft, natural like volume and texture to my hair. It kind of like softly enhances my waves. If I let my hair air dry when I'm using this, my hair is wavier, but not in a crunchy way. It's just really nice and it gives some nice volume as well. I recently used up my bottle, but the dry texturizing spray from Living Proof is phenomenal. I've gone through countless bottles of that through the years. Is it like a texturizing spray and a hairspray in one? Because it does give some good hold to your hair. But yeah, it just gives really beautiful volume, isn't sticky or crunchy, but it does have that sort of like matte texture. I love the Verb Ghost Oil. Again, my hair is very fine and gets weighed down really easily. So like, I don't want anything that's gonna, you know, be too emollient or just like weigh my hair down. Ghost Oil is the perfect name for this because once you put it in your hair, you feel like there's nothing there. You know, it's silkier, less tangled, easier to manage, and you're getting some heat protection, but yet you don't feel like you have stuff in your hair, you know? Really, really love this. The price is also right on this. These jumbo bottles, like, I think it takes me like a year and a half, 2 years to go through this, and it's like $30-something, and it's gonna be less with the discount. So definitely a good bang for your buck here. Last up, we've got fragrance. I have a lot of fragrances that I could recommend, but I'm mostly gonna do the spring, summer type scents today. And then I'll, you know, talk about my other winter fragrances another time. Out of all the Sol de Janeiro scents, my favorite is Cheirosa 40. Is it Cheirosa? I used to say it Cheriosa, but I was switching the R and the I. I don't know how you say that word, but it's the 40 one. It's this bright pink one. I think this is the best smelling from their range. The notes are black, amber, plum, and vanilla woods. It's like a fruity, sweet scent, but it's also a little bit darker. It's not as like tropical fun in the sun as the other Sol de Janeiro scents. Like it definitely has a more depth to it. It is so good. This is a compliment getter. People will notice how you smell whenever you wear this. Like I get told I smell like a dessert. I smell delicious. I smell so good. Like people, this is a crowd pleaser. People really like this one. I like it when I smell it on other people. Like if I pass a girl in a bar and she's wearing this, I immediately know, you know, it smells really good. And you know, you get a lot of it. It is a body mist, so it doesn't have the best lasting power. But I don't mind that, you know, I just kind of overspray with it and I'm fine. For the springtime particularly, it's very on the nose, but I love this scent from Replica. It's called Springtime in a Park. And like I said, on the nose, very literal. and it literally smells like springtime in a park. Yeah, I don't know how else to describe it. It's a fruity floral, which always kind of smells like fruity florals are usually going to smell a little bit like shampoo to me, and that's okay. Like, this kind of smells like a nice shampoo, and I'm fine with that, you know? Like, in the springtime, I just want everything to be fresh and light, you know? We're coming out of winter, and I've been wearing all my vanilla, cozy scents. I want something to bring the sunshine in, and this totally does it. It's very fresh, very light. There's something a little bit like dewy about it, like there's a bit of like a watery note to it. I get mostly pear and just florals, you know, like it just smells like a fancy shampoo, and it's so lovely though. And I don't know, like there's just something special about this particular fragrance that I just find, I look forward to wearing it every time spring rolls around. All right, I want to preface this next scent and say maybe don't blind buy a full bottle of this, like either buy the Discovery set or buy a travel size of this. It's from the brand Abbott, and it's called Mojave, and this is about as close to a signature fragrance as I get. Like, it is truly seasonless. Like, I don't think this goes with one particular season over another. I can wear it any time of the year, night or day, whatever. Oh my god, I just love it so much. This smells so much like pepper. Like, it literally smells like you just like knocked over a pepper shaker, and for some reason I love that. So yeah, very pepper forward. I think there's some bergamot in this. It is a bit citrusy, and then the base is very like musky, woody, and it all comes together as this like bright yet musky combination that I just adore. I love this so much. I've, you know, gone through this bottle. I've gone through a couple of travel sizes, and I actually have a backup bottle because I was scared it was getting discontinued for a minute, but it is still available. For just like a fun in the sun tropical scent, check out the Way St. Bart's Hair and Body Mist. This is just so fun and carefree. It is just such a tropical scent. I haven't sprayed this in a while, huh? Oh god, yeah. This is just summer in a bottle. Very pineapple and coconut, like it's very pina colada-esque. I wouldn't even say like in a grown-up way. This just smells like straight up pina coladas. It smells like the beach. It smells like sunscreen. It's just so nice. And I love mixing this with other scents in the summer just to give you that tropical vibe. It's just so lovely. Again, this is a body mist, so the lasting power is not great. So that's why I like to layer this with other fragrances and just like overspray the hell out of this. Last up is a new one, both to me and on the market. It is Beach Blossom from Jo Malone. I recently picked up the travel spray of this, and I will be getting a full-size bottle because I have fallen head over heels in love with this. Oh my god. This Jo Malone Beach Blossom is what I imagine the lobby of the White Lotus Hotel smells like. It is just like, it is tropical beach resort, but like fancy. It's like a rich lady hotel. Oh my gosh, I love it. This is a very tart yet beachy fragrance. I get a lot of lime from it, and lime is one of the prominent notes. It's like lime, salt, coconut water. And like the coconut is truly coconut water. It's not creamy or milky at all. It is like fresh and dewy, you know? So yeah, you get this like tart, salty, coconutty, fresh situation. Oh, it's so good. Over time, the lime kind of fades away, and you're left with something a little bit softer and a little sweeter, less of that like juicy fresh punch, and more of a like just soft like tropical musky scent. I've actually never purchased a Jo Malone fragrance because the longevity is absolute garbage on Jo Malone. However, I'm finding that this one lasts longer than other Jo Malone fragrances. Still not as good as I would like it. Like, I want this to be longer lasting, but this is the most long lasting out of the Jo Malone fragrances that I've tried. Woo! That was a long one. I am hungry. It is dinner time. I am ready to go eat some food. But this was super fun to film. I just love talking about makeup. I love chit-chatting and just yapping with y'all. If you enjoyed this video and the other videos that I have, please do try and like and subscribe. I am a small, growing channel and I could use all the support that I could get. Thanks for joining, y'all. I'll see you again in the next one.